my husband Jasper, anxiously waiting outside the operating room. For his first love, I was just separated by a wall from him. When Pamela was pushed out of the operating room, she weakly asked her husband where her sister Sabi was. "Why didn't she come with you?" Upon hearing my name, Nestor responded dismissively. "Don't worry about her. She's totally fine." But he didn't know that Pamela's new heart was mine. Chapter 1. The nurse covered my body with a white sheet, announcing the end of my life. Although I am obviously dead, for some reason, my soul still hovers in midair. I looked at the doctors, busy in the operating room. I watched as Pamela's vital signs finally stabilized. The doctor pushed her out of the operating room. I instinctively drifted in her direction. Nestor paced in the doorway, frowning, his fingers unconsciously tapping the phone in his pocket. When he saw the doctor come out, he walked forward quickly. His voice revealed his concern. "How is she?" The doctor stopped to speak to him. "The surgery was a success. Thanks for the timely heart donation." Nestor's face relaxed slightly. He finally breathed a sigh of relief. "Do you know who the donor is?" "I want to thank his family," he asked. "Catch up with the doctor." The doctor shook his head. "I'm sorry, Mr. Joe. Donors asked for anonymity. Therefore, we cannot disclose this information." Ness nodded. "All right. If Nestor knew it was my heart that gave it to Pamela, I wonder how he will react. Will he be glad that Pamela can live well? Or he will be saddened by my death?" Thinking of this, my chest suddenly felt a little tight. How can I feel anything after I die? I smiled self-deprecatingly. Soon after, my body, covered with a white sheet, also launched. I passed Nestor in the hallway. For some reason, he suddenly glanced back. There is a brief moment of confusion. Then he turned around and followed Pamela into the hospital room. Pamela is still asleep. Nestor waited by her bedside. I floated between them like a third wheel. Realizing this, I stepped back a bit. I suddenly remembered the time when Pamela used to yell at me, "Sabrina, if not you're scheming. I should marry Brother Nendo." Nestor also said, "Sabrina, you should know why I married you." Indeed, I am the third wheel in their relationship. But it doesn't matter. I've taken a step back, even though it's involuntarily. In the second chapter, Nestor holds Pamela's hand tightly. His forehead rested lightly against the back of her hand. I watched them silently. I don't know how much time has passed before Pamela's fingers twitched. Then she slowly opened her eyes. The Nestor brothers. Her voice was still hoarse from waking up. As soon as she spoke, Nestor's heart tightened. The moment Pamela saw Nestor, her eyes filled with tears. "Pammy, you're awake." Nestor quickly pressed the call button next to the bed. "Summon a doctor." The Nestor brothers. "I thought I would never see you again." Tears streamed down Pamela's pale cheeks. "Make her look pitiful." Nestor's eyes filled with pain. He patted Pamela's hand gently. "No, everything will be fine now. You will recover." Seeing their love, a wave of hatred welled up in my heart. "You're all right, but what about me?" The doctor gave Pamela a thorough examination. "Everything is normal. She just needs to stay in the hospital for a longer period of time." Before she went home, after the doctor left, Pamela cautiously asked, "Where was Sister Sabi? Why didn't she come with you?" Hearing my own name, I suddenly woke up from my thoughts. Nestor's expression stiffened. He lowered his eyes, a hint of disgust in his voice. "Don't worry about her." Pamela replied, "Oh," and bowed her head. Didn't say much, but I could clearly see a faint smile on her lips. It's the same old trick. Deliberately mentioning me in front of Jasper. Test his reactions. With the exception of Nestor, everyone could see her intentions. After dinner with Pamela, Nestor looked at the time and said he needed to go home. Pamela struggled to sit up, looking frightened. "Brother Nendo, I don't want to be here alone. I'm scared." He took out his phone and looked at it. "No new news." Nestor hesitated. "Why don't you ask Aunt Wong to accompany you?" "Aunt Wong is our live-in housekeeper, responsible for Jasper and my meals. Can't you stay with me?" Pamela bit her lip, her voice getting softer. Nestor was silent for a moment, then unlocked his phone and opened our chat. Our conversation stopped 2 days ago. The last piece of information was that I said let's get a divorce. He replied, "Don't make something out of nothing." Chapter 3. Pamela was seen looking at him with red-framed eyes, like a little white rabbit. Nestor's heart softened. He sent me a message that I wouldn't be home tonight. I pursed my lips. I know, but I can't reply to you anymore. Seeing that Nestor agreed to stay, Pamela finally smiled. I know that Brother Nestor is the best for me. Nestor patted her on the head, his voice full of affection. I can't really say no to you. And he went to the water room to fetch water. Pamela pulled out her phone. She opened her own second-level WeChat account and sent a message to someone. Comes with an all-black avatar. Took care of everything. His answer was almost instantaneous. Don't worry, everything is taken care of. A cold glint flashed in Pamela's eyes. Dying and give me her heart. At least she died for a good cause. So she didn't just know that I was dead, but also involved in my death. Look at my translucent body and smug Pamela. A wave of hatred rose in my heart, but there's nothing I can do. I could only watch her act sweet and innocent. Live well in this world with my heart with Jasper. When Nestor returns with a thermos, he sat in a chair and start peeling apples for Pamela. However, he seems to be a little distracted. His gaze kept drifting to his phone. This was set aside. When the phone rings suddenly, this scared him. The fruit knife cut his fingertips, but he didn't bother with the wound. Instead, he walked to the window to answer the phone. Hello? Soapy? Yes, I'm not going home tonight. What? She didn't come back either. Nestor's face changed slightly. I know he hung up. Pamela saw this, then quickly wrapped his fingers in a tissue. What happened? She asked. Nestor shook his head. Something happened to the company. I have to go. I was taken aback. The call was apparently from Aunt Wong. So why is he lying? Pamela doesn't seem to notice Nestor's erratic behavior. Nodding obediently. All right, go ahead. Then Nestor picked up his suit and walked to the door. When he reached the door, he turned around and said, Rest well. I'll see you tomorrow. My heart was pounding. I decided to follow him out of the hospital. I want to see where he's going. Chapter 4. On the way home, Nestor drove. His face was serious and seemed to be preoccupied. Whenever the light turns red, he would open our chat but didn't see me reply. He sighed and put the phone down. I'm confused. What was he thinking? Is he expecting a reply from me? But he clearly despised me. Honestly, our marriage was an accident. We were classmates, but different ages. He preceded me by 2 years. It was he who helped me when I was bullied at school. I have a crush on him, but never dared to disturb his life. After Nestor graduated, I heard that he joined the family business and have a bright future. I knew I wouldn't meet him again. I buried these feelings deep in my heart. Soon after, my father was in debt and committed suicide by jumping off a building. My mom couldn't take the blow and passed away soon after. Pay off your debts? I worked during the day and took up a night shift job as a hotel maid. The next time I saw Nestor was at the hostel. He was drunk and unconscious, carried into the presidential suite, located on the top floor. I happened to be cleaning the bathroom. By chance, I overheard a phone conversation outside. Medication's in. Hurry up. The key card is in the crack of the door. And then they were gone. I know it's not something I'm supposed to be involved in, but after confirming that there was no one outside, I was about to leave. But before leaving, I glanced back and realized the man lying on the bed was Nestor. His face flushed. He frowned. He closed his eyes. His long eyelashes cast a shadow over his face. Should I help or not? He once saved me. Can I just let him be drugged here? Hesitated for a moment. I took the key card through the crack in the door and locked the door from the inside. I poured a glass of water and walked over to the bed. Tried to wake up Jasper. When Nestor opened his eyes, He was groggy. He looked at me and suddenly shouted, "Sabrina." I was stunned. Does he recognize me? Chapter 5. His expression quickly became dazed again. "Senior, drink some water and take a shower, okay?" I tentatively reached out and patted him on the shoulder. But Nestor grabbed my hand. Then he pulled me hard towards him. After the dazzling moment, I found myself pressed against the big bed beneath him. He leaned closer. His breath was hot against my skin, burning my sanity. My heart was beating wildly. "Senior, please wake up." I kept pushing his shoulder, but he was vexatious. His hot kiss landed on my lips. My brain went blank. I heard the last snapping of my sanity. Everything is out of control. A quick knock on the door was faintly heard. Nestor cupped my face, focused. I don't know how long it lasted, but eventually I fell into a deep sleep. Wake up only when daylight fills the room. Thinking back to last night, I sat up in fear. Saw that Nestor was still asleep next to me. I want to sneak out, but my movements woke him up. He squinted at me for a moment. Seems to be trying to recall what happened. The night before. What happened? His face darkened, as if he remembered something. My heart tightened, and I stammered. Yes, it was an accident. But he didn't want to hear my explanation. He said coldly, waited for me outside, and went into the bathroom. Put on a bathrobe. I bit my lip and felt endless grievances. Why did he treat me like this? It's his loss of mind. So why do I have to bear the consequences? When he came out, he tossed a bank card on the coffee table. 1 million. Let's pretend that nothing happened yesterday. I stared at the card with mixed feelings. I said in a hoarse voice, "No, nothing happened anyway." Then I opened the door and left the room. In the elevator, my legs felt very weak, barely able to stand. Tears finally flowed down my face. Chapter 6. Forget it. I'll repay him for saving me. After crying, I consoled myself so that I wouldn't have any more trouble. I quit my job from the hotel that day. However, in my panic, I forgot to take the morning after pill. Next month, I realized I was menstruating late. I bought a pregnancy test with faint hope, but the 2 red lines on the stick made my mind uneasy. Worse, that day, I went to the hospital to schedule surgery. I met Jasper. He hurried past me, bumped into me, causing my files to be scattered all over the place. When he helped pick them up, he apologized, but then it froze. When he saw my name and the abortion form, Nestor looked up at me in disbelief. Meet my evasive gaze. "You're pregnant." I stammered that it wasn't his business. Then turn around and leave. But he caught me. "We need to talk." So, as fate would have it, I married him. Pregnant with his child. He paid off all my high-interest debts. After marrying him, I found out about his green mara. They are already engaged. But I inadvertently walked between them. However, the baby did not survive. Married for 4 months. Pamela's constant provocations finally made me angry. For the first time, she called my unborn child a jerk. She called me a badass without parents. I tried to stay calm, but she pushed me down the stairs on the 2nd floor, in excruciating pain. I saw her face contort into a malicious smile. Then she covered her heart and fell to the ground. When Nestor arrives at the hospital, "Our baby is gone." I sat on the bed and wept. But Nestor's face was gloomy as he questioned me. "Did you know that Pammy had a heart condition?" There can be no pressure. What did you do to her?" My eyes widened in disbelief. "I didn't do anything. She gave me a push." "Our baby is gone." But Nestor pursed her lips and looked at me coldly. "Pammy is a kind girl. She wouldn't do such a thing." "Sabrina, you've let me down." He left without looking back. Chapter 7. From then on, the only bond between me and Nestor was gone. He never touched me again. His attitude towards me was still cold and distant. Pamela was happy with herself. Play the innocent neighbor girl in front of Nestor, while bullying and insulting me. Whenever he's not there. "Just wait. I'll take him back," Pamela said arrogantly. But I never thought she would use this tactic. Take back Jasper. And in the process, she also took my heart. I have signed the divorce papers. I was going to do it after Jasper signed them. I would not hesitate to leave the city. However, she had no intention of giving me this opportunity. Early one morning, Pamela tricked me into leaving the house. She told me Nestor was in trouble. I should go to Genmore Road, then wait for her there. Although Genmore Road is remote, I have some doubts. I went anyway because it was about Jasper. To my surprise, when I arrived, I had a premeditated car accident. I don't know when Pamela set her sights on my heart, or how she managed to fake me consent to donate. But as a person with no family or connections, my disappearance doesn't matter to anyone. She succeeded. Chapter 8. I closed my eyes for a moment as Jasper's sudden brake the car. Oh, we're home. As soon as we entered, Aunt Wong greeted us and said to Nestor, "Sir, Madam has not returned." Nestor frowned. I see. When did she leave? Aunt Wong recalled that it was around 8 a.m. She gets a call and goes out. Ness nodded, motioned for Aunt Wong to continue her work. Then he turned around and went straight upstairs to my room. The room was the same as when I left. Jasper checked my closet, found all my clothes and luggage still there. This made him breathe a sigh of relief. He sat on the couch. He took out his phone and sent me another message. "Where have you been? It's weird. Why is he so obsessed with finding me today?" I watched him wait for a few minutes. Just as he was about to call me, his gaze fell on my desk. There are several papers. Nestor stood up and picked them up. They are the divorce papers that I signed. His face darkened instantly. One hand clutched the divorce papers tightly. He dialed my number with another person. "The number you dialed is turned off. Please try again later." The cold, automated message made his face even more gloomy. My phone was smashed in the car. Accident. How can I get a call from him? I find it interesting to watch his unusual behavior. He used to be indifferent to my life and death. But now that I'm missing, he's become so anxious. It's ironic. He pulled out his phone and sent me another one. "Stop being stubborn. Come back when you've had enough trouble." Read those words. An inexplicable sadness welled up in my heart. When will he finally realize that I have left him? Forever? Chapter 9. The next morning, Nestor brought a meal. Auntie Wong prepares to visit Pamela in the hospital. Brother Nendo. Pamela's eyes lit up as soon as she saw him. "These are your favorite dishes. Eat more so you can get better sooner." Nestor gently placed the food on the small table. I was overwhelmed to see his attentive behavior. Oh yes, I shouldn't be breathing anymore. In any case, I feel very sad. Because Jasper never remembers what I like to eat. Or rather, he didn't care about my preferences at all. I don't eat green onions or spicy food. But our first time eating with Pamela, he chose a Sichuan restaurant because Pamela loves spicy food. They chatted enthusiastically while I barely touched my food. Pamela looked at me half-jokingly and said, "Sister Sabi, don't you like the restaurant Nestor Gothard chose? Or maybe you just don't want to eat with me?" Nestor's gaze became a little curious. "No, I'm just not very hungry. Today, I had to force myself to take a few sips of oil-soaked slices of boiled meat. I endured the discomfort, accompany them after eating. But when I got home, I ended up with a stomachache. It hurts. I had to go to the emergency room. In the middle of the night. What Nestor said at the time. How can you be so delicate? You can get something like this from just one meal. Pammy is totally fine." I was pale and speechless. As a result, he was in the hospital for half a month. I jumped out of my mind and saw Pamela, pouting and pretending to be spoiled. "Brother, can you feed me? I don't want to move." Nestor chuckled. He was about to agree, but seemed to remember something. His words have changed, too. "Pammy, you're grown up now. You can't always let your brother feed you." Pamela was stunned, not expecting him to refuse. Floating nearby, I remembered our previous quarrel. "What do you think of me? What do you think of Pamela?" Nestor replied, "Dad and I grew up together. She's like my family." "Sabrina, stop being reasonable. No matter how much you feel like family, You are all adults now. Shouldn't you keep a proper distance? If you want to be with her, I'll go. In any case, our marriage was an accident. I wept bitterly. If it weren't for saving him. I wasn't supposed to go through all this. Nestor didn't expect me to be so upset. A moment of panic. Don't cry. I will be more careful in the future. Did he remember my words? That's why he turned Pamela down. I can't help but wonder. Then I felt like I was stupid. Nestor doesn't love me. Why would he care what I say? Brother Nendo, are you tired of me? Pamela pouted, tears glistening in her eyes. Nestor panicked. And quickly grab a tissue to wipe your tears. No, don't get emotional. It's not good for your heart to recover. I'll never get tired of you. Pamela continued to cry. At the same time, rest your head on Nestor's chest. Nestor's body tensed, but he didn't push her away. Opposite. He reached out and gently patted her on the back, comforting. Looking at Pamela's disguise, my heart was filled with hatred. She hurt me and my children. But she can still be shy in front of Nestor. In my heart, brother and Nestor is the best for me. Pamela sobbed. If Sabrina hadn't seduced you, would you marry me? Brother Nendo. Hearing this, Nestor was silent for a moment. Pommy, he said slowly, What if Sabrina is gone? Would you like to be with me? I'm no longer a burden. My heart disease has been cured. I'm not going to drag you down. Pamela clutched his sleeve tightly, her face stubborn. Nestor sighed. Since I promised your parents, I will take care of you. I will not break that promise. Do not worry. Even if I'm married, I won't abandon you, I scoffed. Pamela leaned against him. Seemingly obedient, jealousy flashed in her eyes. After visiting Pamela, Nestor went to the office. After passing the reception, he suddenly turned around. Have you seen my wife in the past 2 days? He asked. The receptionist thought about it, no. Nestor's eyes darkened. Just as he was about to leave. The receptionist suddenly remembered. Mr. Joe, what is this? Nestor turned. Yesterday morning, your wife called. She says she can't reach you. And asked if you have come to the office. You're not there yet. So I told her no. The receptionist recalled. I called yesterday morning. Yes, after receiving a call from Pamela. I tried contacting Jasper. His phone was turned off. Then I called the office to confirm. He didn't go to work. Before heading to Jennier Road, Nestor looked confused at the receptionist's words. Yesterday morning, I didn't get a call from her. He muttered to himself as he walked into his office. Think about it. He pulled out his phone again. Seeing that I still didn't answer. How long will this last? Nestor sighed and picked up the walkie-talkie. Secretary, please make a reservation for tonight's restaurant. A dining table for 2 for our wedding anniversary. Hearing this, I looked at him in disbelief. Chapter 11. Jasper sent me another message. Sobi, I made a reservation at a restaurant. Can we have dinner together tonight? I felt a pang in my heart. My nose is tingling? Yes. Today is our first wedding anniversary. But what's the point of being good for me now? In the afternoon, Pamela called Brother Nendo. When are you coming to be with me? Nestor frowned, his eyes fixed on his inactive phone. Brother, Pamela shouted, testing his attention. When he didn't respond. I'm sorry, Pommy. I'm a bit busy today and don't have time to come and see you. He replied quickly. Back to reality. All right. Pamela sounded disappointed. Will Nestor really refuse? Pamela is going to have dinner with me. I was a little surprised. But knowing Pamela, she won't give up easily. Sure enough, it didn't take long for the hospital to call. The doctor said Pamela had fainted. Her condition is unstable. Need to be accompanied by a family member. There was a rare look of frustration on Nestor's face. But he drove to the hospital anyway. How about Pammy? Pamela was seen lying on the bed with her eyes closed. Nestor hesitated and asked the doctor next to him. The doctor replied. Miss Bai suddenly became agitated and couldn't breathe. So she fainted. There was no one else with her. Nestor had to wait for her to wake up. He kept checking the time on his phone. Maybe thinking about our dinner plans. But I can't make it to my appointment, Nestor. 2 hours later, Pamela slowly woke up Nestor's brother. At the sight of Jasper, she began to cry again. "Pammy, I have dinner plans with Sabi tonight. I really can't be with you." Nestor interrupted her as soon as she woke up. Pamela was taken aback. "With Sister Sabi?" "Yes, she hasn't replied yet. But I can't let her hang in case she shows up." Ness nodded. Pamela bowed her head. A subtle mockery flashed in her eyes. "I guess she must be thinking that Sabrina is dead. How could she show up for dinner?" "Rest in peace." Nestor stood up and left his brother Nestor. Pamela sat up and tried to get out of bed, but he fell to the ground. "Pam." Nestor quickly turned around and rushed to help her up. Process. His eyes saw a small pendant. Fell out of bed. "That's the star charm on my necklace." "What is it?" He picked it up and handed it to Pamela. "It's my pendant." Pamela's face changed slightly. She quickly put it away. Jasper felt the pendant familiar, but he couldn't remember where he had seen it before. He helped Pamela back to bed and immediately go to the restaurant where we had planned to meet. But he waited there all night and I never showed up again. Chapter 12. The more Nestor thought about it, the more something feels wrong. He finally couldn't help it. "Contact a private investigator. Help me find out where Sabi went." I floated beside him, watching his uneasy expression. To be honest, I'm curious too. What the hell did Pamela do to me? The private investigator was quick to respond. "The report has no record of my purchase. Purchased tickets at the airport, port, or train station. Last time the monitor caught me. Ordered a taxi right in front of my house." Read the investigator's message. Nestor felt his heart sink. A hint of panic crossed his face. "Keep track of that taxi. Taxis are legal." And quickly contacted the driver. The driver said he dropped me off near Geneva Road. But nothing is known. There was no surveillance in that remote area. Geneva Road is so remote. What is she doing there? Nestor remembered what Aunt Wong had mentioned. Around 8 a.m. She gets a call and goes out. He immediately ordered, "Find a way to look at her call history to see who called her. Maybe it's a glimmer of hope." He did not report it to the police. It's not hard to check call logs. The last call was from Pamela. Nestor's expression was, it was as if he had been struck by lightning. "What?" He stood up suddenly, knocked over the coffee cup on his desk. Hot coffee spilled all over the papers. But he didn't notice. Nestor finally remembered. Why didn't he get my call? He was in the hospital with Pamela at that time. Pamela asked for his phone to play the game. He then looked at the surveillance footage again. It's not obvious, though. I was wearing a necklace with a star pendant. At that moment, all the color on Nestor's face vanished. He contacted the private investigator again. Find out who donated their hearts to Pamela. At that moment, I was amazed at Nestor's acumen. His shock and anguish seemed real. This time, his usually indifferent face, showing a hint of regret. The investigator's email arrived quickly. The donor is Sabrina. Nestor slowly closed his eyes. His lips were completely devoid of color. It turned out to be you. He muttered to himself. I don't know if he remembered the day before yesterday, in the hospital, when he looked back at me, covered with white sheets. He followed Pamela. Chapter 13. Nestor rushed to the hospital at 120 miles per hour. He pushed open the door to Pamela's room and walked inside. Brother Nendo, why are you here so late? Pamela woke up with a slight frown. Where is Sabi? Nestor's voice was not emotional. Sister Sabi? I do not know. Pamela blinked, pretending to be innocent. My patience is limited. Pamela, where did you take Sabrina? Nestor took a few steps forward, towering above Pamela sitting on the bed. When Sabi vanished, that star pendant was on her. If you really don't know, why it's with you. Pamela bit her lip. Just as she was about to lie again, Nestor grabbed her wrist. Whose heart is this? It's Sabi's. Tell me. Seeing that there was no way out, Pamela abandoned her actions. Yes, it's hers. She's dead. Hearing her words, Nestor's eyes darkened. If she died, I wanted to see her body. Where is she? Pamela laughed, as if hearing a funny joke. Are you seeking justice? Now for her. Sabrina seduces you. Pregnant, married to you by despicable means. Be an obstacle between us. Does it matter where she died? I took her heart. Now I can live a good life without Sabrina. You're going to marry me, right? Her expression became manic. Whether she lives or dies, I will not marry you. I've always treated you as a sister and never loved you. Where is she? Nestor shouted angrily. Pamela's face was distorted with resentment. I burned her to ashes and scattered her in the sea. You'll never find her. A flash of pain flashed in Nestor's eyes. He gritted his teeth, but tears still fell. He really cried for me. I was a little surprised. Then there were the policemen who had been standing at the door. Walk in. Pamela's eyes widened. You called the police. Nestor looked at her with only hatred in his eyes. Sure, but I'm not going to let you die. After all, in your heartbeat is still the Sabi chapter. 14. Pamela's words may be true. She took care of everything so thoughtfully. My body was completely gone, but Nestor wasn't convinced. He frantically searched everywhere for my body. If I could speak, I would tell him to stop. Late. Feelings are not as valuable as grass. He never loved me. Why is he acting so painfully now? Until he pulled out a photo album from his study. The first page is a photo of my student ID. I was stunned. That's my lost freshman student ID. I never thought this photo was with Jasper. So, I'm sorry. If only I had been better to you. If I didn't care about Pamela that much. Give her false hope. If everything was different. Nestor stared at the picture in a daze. Then he put the picture and my star pendant on it, packed into a small box. So you may not know it, but I've always loved you. He hugged the box, his eyes were red, and he muttered to himself. Even if you don't love me, I keep you with me. Fear that you will leave. So I've been testing and hurting you. Eventually lead to your death. Indirectly, I was wrong. He loves me. I'm confused. Is it because my soul is losing emotion? I don't feel anything. See his pain. Nestor bought a plot of land. Bury the box with the photo and pendant inside. That's my cenotaph. From that day on, he went to my grave every day. Serve with a bouquet of fresh lilies. Sat there for half a day, drinking and gossiping past. It turns out, Nestor knew I wasn't the one who drugged him. And drugged. The effect on him was not great enough that he lost all sanity. He realized it was me and decided to go along with it. But then, he couldn't face me. So he wanted to calm down. Unexpectedly, I quit and disappeared for a month. He was looking for me everywhere. Until he found me in the hospital. Abortion is imminent. This made him desperate to take me back and marry me. About Pamela pushed me down the stairs. He genuinely believed it was an accident. Pamela's parents did him a favor. Before they died, they entrusted her to his care. There was never contact between them. As Pamela claims, Nestor just didn't want to put pressure on Pamela's fragile heart. So he protected her. But no matter what he says, the damage he did to me was real. It's something I can't forgive. Chapter 15. Both Pamela and the killer she hired were captured, and was sentenced to life imprisonment. Nestor uses his influence to keep her in prison for the rest of her life. Miserable. She repeatedly tried to contact Nestor, past the guards, but he refused to see her. Soon after, Pamela committed suicide in prison. When the news of her death reached him, Nestor at my grave, gently clean the tombstone with a damp cloth. As long as her heart is returned, she is dead. Nestor answered the phone, his voice cold. On the way back, Nestor gets distracted while driving. Ultimately, crash into a speeding truck running a red light. At the turn. It's also good to end it that way. See you in the next life. At the moment of impact, I heard him murmuring softly. His hands left the steering wheel. This is not surprising. Nestor died instantly. And I, watching my body become more and more transparent, know that my time has come. If there is an afterlife. I just want life to be safe and happy. Jasper will never be seen again. But when I opened my eyes, I went back to the hotel bathroom. Someone outside was on the phone. Medication's in. Hurry up. The key card is in the crack of the door. That familiar conversation. I was born again. I stared at myself in the mirror in amazement. I'm back to being a hotel maid. The outside should be a drugged nest. After the people outside leave the room, I hurried out. Nestor lay half-conscious on the bed, reminiscing about everything about my past life. I'm decisive. I opened the door and left without looking back. Let go of the savior complex. Respect the fate of others. In this life, I will live well for myself.